Hi and welcome to trunk training. It's a pretty intense exercise and training for the legs, for the abs, for the obliques and for the arms and also for the grip strength. And we're always going to do one exercise of the trunk training. And when we're going to read something, here's about cachexia. And when we change back and forth between an exercise and reading something about cachexia to get the advantages from both, from the breaks, from the exercises, and a break for the brain, so that the brain has to actually memorize it in the middle term or even the long-term memory. And then also important, participating in the exercises is at your own risk, and cachexia is a severe disease, a severe syndrome of diseases. I'm going to talk about most of the time about severe syndromes of a disease. Let's start with a warm-up exercise. Next, standing wide apart, we're breathing in and out. And again in, and out, again in, out, last round, breathe in, out, now breathe in and close the legs, and we can start with the first exercise. We're having a standing leg, the other leg comes into the air with a right ankle, flexed foot, even aligned hips, so don't be too high, even aligned hips, a straight and tall back, and we're pressing with the hand, it's the inside of the knee, and we're doing this all with a lot of force. All these exercises are done with great effort. Keep a straight back, go to aligned hips and press with effort. And we're switching to the other side. Leg up, right angle with the leg, flexed foot, even aligned hips, tall up with the back, straight back, neutral position with the spine, and press with effort. And a little bend in the elbow, always. And that was the first exercise. Now to cachexia. Cachexia can be a syndrome of illnesses, so it's a syndrome. There are illnesses like cancer, congestive heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and chronic kidney diseases, or AIDS. And these diseases can cause muscle loss. If people lose because of diseases like cancer, congestive heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, chronic kidney disease, or AIDS muscles, this syndrome is called cachexia. Cachexia is a syndrome of some diseases resulting in muscle loss. So some diseases, for example cancer, can cause muscle loss. The disease cancer itself causes muscle loss. And that muscle loss is then called cachexia. Next exercise, we're having the legs standing wide apart. We're going into quarter squat. We're pressing with the hands against the upper part of the upper leg. All with quite a lot of effort. Then the other side, press with quite a lot of effort. And now we are going down into half squat and we're pressing on the middle part of the leg, again with a lot of effort. The other side in the middle part of the leg with a lot of effort. And we're going down into 3/4 squat and we're pressing close to the knee with a lot of effort. And on the other side. So cachexia is a syndrome caused by, for example, cancer, and it's loss of muscles. Some diseases can change how the body handles the inflammations, its metabolism or brain signaling, which all can lead to muscle loss. So inflammations or the change of metabolism or brain signals can be affected by cancer or some diseases, and that all can cause cachexia, muscle loss. Differently to weight loss, from eating less, but cachexia muscle loss happens without that fat loss must happen. So if someone eats less, we are losing fat and also muscle sometimes, but we are losing both or fat. But by cachexia, just muscle loss happens. It can happen alongside of fat, but it doesn't have to be fat lost. The next exercise, we're having again the leg up, right angle, flexed foot, even aligned hips, tall up with back, neutral position with spine. Now we're pressing from the top again with a lot of effort. Tall up with the back, neutral position with the spine and even aligned hips. And a little bend in the elbow. And to the other side. Again, up with the leg, even aligned hips, tall up with the back, press on the top with a lot of effort. So cachexia is the syndrome by some diseases, for example cancer, that muscle loss happens. And differently to weight loss through to eating less, is that fat loss must not happen alongside with muscle loss. Tumor necrosis factor is in the human body and has something to do with cachexia. Tumor necrosis factor breaks down muscles and fat and stops new muscles and fat cells from forming. That is done by something called ubiquitin proteasome pathway. Tumor necrosis factor triggers the release types of cytokines which are speeding up muscle loss. It could be the tumor necrosis is produced by something called macrophages, but it is not for sure where they come from. So tumor necrosis factors breaks down muscles and fat and stops new production of them. And it triggers, and that is done by called ubiquitin proteasome pathway, it's too much. And it triggers the release of some cytokines which are speeding muscle loss. So tumor necrosis factor increases the breakdown of muscle and fat cells and stops new generation of muscle and fat cells. The next exercise, we're going down into half squat, and we press into 3/4 squat, full squat maybe, 3/4 squat, and we're pressing against the knee, and we're going towards the knee. And on the other side, we're pressing against the knee, and we're going towards it. Again, press against the knee, and we're going towards it. And again, press against the knee, going towards it. And again, press against the knee, and we're going towards it. And last time, press against the knee, and we're going towards it. Tumor necrosis factor increases muscle and fat breakdown of muscle and fat cells and stops new generation. Interleukin 6 might also start muscle loss by creating something called JAK-STAT pathway or JAK-STAT pathway. So interleukin 6 also starts muscle loss. So tumor necrosis factor and interleukin 6. The next exercise, again up with the legs, same rules. Now we're pressing on the outside, from the outside. With a lot of effort. The rules are riding with the leg, flexed foot, even lined hips, tall up with the back, a little bend in the elbow. And then press with a lot of effort. And change to the other side. Riding with the leg, flexed foot, even lined hips, tall up with the back, little bend in the elbow. And press with a lot of effort. Tumor necrosis factor increases muscle and fat cell degeneration, or this is called breakdown, and interleukin 6 also starts muscle loss. Myostatin is something preventing muscle growth, and people with cancer have more of it. Myostatin prevents muscle growth, and people with cancer have more myostatin. So interleukin 6 starts muscle loss. Tumor necrosis factor breaks down muscle and fat cells and stops them from generating, and myostatin prevents muscle growth, and people with cancer have it. The next exercise, going into full squat, arms are to the side, we're going down to the side, we're pressing with the hand against the leg, looking up to the other hand, and we have a bend in the elbow. And press with effort. And switching to the other side. Again, full squat, press against the leg, bend in the elbow. Look up to the other hand. And we're done with this exercise, which is called the propeller. Next exercise, up with the leg, same rules. Riding over the leg, flex foot, even lined hips, tall over the back. Pressing on the outside. Now we're opening the leg. Keep pressing the whole time. And we're closing again. And again, press against the knee, upper leg, and we're opening. Have always a little bit in the elbow. And on the other side. Up with the leg, even lined hips and tall off with the back. Press with an elbow and with a bend in the elbow. To the outside. Back and the middle. And another time up with the leg. Press on the outside. We're opening. So tumor necrosis factor breaks down muscle and fat cells and stops new from generating. Myostatin prevents growth of muscles. People with cancer have more of it. Interleukin 6 starts muscle loss. GDF15 plays a role in food aversion. So GDF15 plays a role in not wanting food aversion. Next exercise, we're going into 1990 lunge. So 1990 with both legs. And now we're pressing against the knee from the inside. And on the other side. Tall up with the back. The neutral position of the spine is important and tall up with the back. And switch again. And now, really tall up with the back and neutral position of the spine. And we're pulling at the leg. And on the other side. Tall up with the back, neutral position of the spine, and pulling at the leg. And again, something similar. 90-90 again. Tall up with the back, neutral position of the spine, and now we're pulling underneath the knee. And on the other side. Same rules, tall up with the back, neutral position of the spine, pulling underneath the knee. And just one last exercise. Yes, first exercise. No full lunge. And we're pulling again. And you need tall up with the back, neutral position of the spine. And on the other side. Tall up with the back, neutral position of the spine, and okay. Leptin is a hormone which people with cachexia have more of. Leptin makes less hungry. So GDF15 plays a role in food aversion, and leptin also. Is a hormone which makes hungry, and leptin may have less of it. Tumors sometimes release molecules called perforate-related peptine, which is stimulating energy production in the mitochondria of fat cells. Uncontrolled inflammation in people affected by cachexia can increase need for nutrition. Inflammation may disrupt the appetite-controlling part of the hypothalamus. In the hypothalamus, NPV and AGRP are increasing appetite, POMC and CRRT are decreasing appetite, and the hypothalamus can be affected by inflammations. Treatment focuses on exercise, nutrition, medication, and psychosocial support. About half of people with cancer develop cachexia. 5 million people in the United States have it, and it is the immediate cause of death by 20 to 40% of cancer. Now just a little stretching. The leg to the ground, pulling a bit at the toes. And the other leg, heel on the ground, long leg, and we're stretching the leg. The next exercise, legs staying with apart, we're breathing in, bring your hands up. And breathing out, and we're leaning carefully back and looking up. Opening the chest to the sky. Breathe in, back into the middle. And breathe out, lean again a bit back. And breathe in, and now close hands and feet. And breathe in. And breathe out, and lean again back. And breathe in, back in the middle. And out. Now down to the ground. And we are stretching only the left leg, so we're bending the right leg, we're stretching the left leg, we're bringing the heel of the left leg to the outside and going with the body into the other direction of which the toes are pointing. Now we're changing the toes of the left leg to the outside and the body to the other side of which the toes are pointing to. And now with the other leg. The right leg straight, the left leg bent, the right leg with the heel to the outside and turn with the body the opposite direction of which the toes are pointing. And change the toes of the right leg to the outside and then with the body into the other direction. And close both legs, stretch both legs at a time. Both feet closing. And breathe in, and we're coming up, and we're done with trunk training. So, cachexia is a muscle loss syndrome of diseases, for example, cancer. 5 million people have it in the United States. Half of people with cancer have it, and in 20 to 40% of cancer it is the immediate cause of death. Then the inflammation of the hypothalamus can play a part. Interleukin 6 starts muscle loss. Myostatin prevents muscle growth, and people with cachexia have more of it. And GDF15 plays a role in food aversion. We have also more of it. Leptin is a hormone which makes hungry, and people with cachexia have less of it. And the last thing, tumor necrosis factor. decreases, breaks down muscle and fat cells and stops new creating. I don't have more time left to go through it again or in more detail. I thank you very much, and until next time.